Welcome to Jesus-Centric Life. I'm here with Pastor Josh. I'm Donna. And there's every so often you come to me and say, hey, I want to do this one.
Yep.
And today's one of those days. And it's
yeah, usually you're the idea person, just FYI. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll just say maybe. But today's focus is Jesus disappointed. Leaders will too.
Yeah.
And disappointment, that's a hard one. I hate disappointing people as a leader.
Me too. It's the hardest part.
What made you want to talk about that today?
So, I mean, the deeply personal part of it is that it was my devotion this morning, right? I read out of it's Pete Scazzaro. It's emotionally healthy spirituality. And so it's got these devotions in it. And that's what it was about today. And it's just been, I don't know, personally, a season of disappointing people for various reasons. Some of them my fault, some of them not my fault. But it's just been a season of that. And so I thought hey, I'm not going to go into all my struggles and how I've disappointed people. That's not what we're doing today. But we do want to talk about this concept. And maybe just as much for myself to remind myself that this is it's a part of leadership, disappointing people.
Now, we won't get in the weeds of the specifics.
Yeah.
But how do you wear disappointment when you as a leader have disappointed somebody? How do you shoulder that?
Not well. Not well. It's probably the hardest thing for me is I think I'm wired to want, as a pastor, my caring heart is I want people to have a good relationship with me. I want them to, because I think I can pastor them best when we do. I don't want to pastor from a distance. I want to pastor up close. And the reality is the more you know somebody, the more it disappoints them when it doesn't go the way that they want them to. And it's the same way. I'm the same way. I'm not judging anybody when they're disappointed with me or not frustrated with anybody. At some level, intellectually, I'm not frustrated with anybody when they're disappointed at me because I get disappointed. It's easier to get disappointed at my wife than it is a random person off the street. Why? Because I know her better, right? And I think the reality of that is just what it is. I talk about it before. I'm in counseling. It's reading your Bible. It's prayer. It's moving on. It's, conversations like this to just remind me that the disappointment's going to happen. Not that, and I don't know that I ever want it not to hurt, right? I want to feel it when I'm disappointing somebody at some level.
Oh, I hate it. I don't know if I can say I want to feel it.
I don't want. I told Sarah this the other day. It's I think I need to become more of a narcissist. Right? And I know that's weird, right? But that's the other side of it. If I didn't disappoint people, I would be a narcissist. Or no, if I didn't carry the disappointment with me.
Speak more about that.
So either I care about people or I care about myself.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
So either I only care what, and again, there's a balance there. Either I only care what people think.
Right.
Or I only care what I think.
And if you care about what people think, ministry is not the job for you. That's hard.
If you don't care what people think.
Right.
Yeah. It's, and we don't need narcissists in ministry. Ministries, and did you know this? Ministry is the third highest narcissistic place.
For real?
For real. And I don't know if it's all ministry, but it's pastors. Pastors are the third highest narcissist.
Why is that?
After lawyers and politicians.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Well, and I think it's because when you've disappointed people so much, it becomes hard to keep caring. And that's why I say I need to be more of a narcissist, but I don't really mean it. I don't want to stop. That's why at the end of the day, I do say I don't want to stop hurting when I hurt people. I do, because I don't want to be a pastor that's a narcissist. I don't want to be a pastor that doesn't care. Now, again, I think the middle ground is that, and this is what I am working toward. I think the middle ground is right. We we find our value and purpose in the cross of Christ, that Jesus said, I loved you, I gave my life for you, I died for you, and your value is the blood that I shed for you. And then your purpose is to go lay down your life for the sake of other people, to take up your cross and follow me. And so I think like the balance in the two between overfeeling and underfeeling that burden is that we find our hope in Jesus, but yet we care about what people think because I want to carry their burden. But I don't want I can do better with it probably, but I don't want to lose the fact that it does hurt when I hurt people. Yes. And I don't want to lose that at some level.
Yes, I don't want to lose it, but I hate disappointing.
Yeah.
I've disappointed you. I've disappointed people in our church. There's no way to be in relationship and not eventually disappoint, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
But as a leader, I will be harder on myself, I think, than anybody. And to walk through that, I just grieve it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. Should we look at Jesus?
Oh yeah,
Should we look at Jesus disappointing people?
No.
I think that was a good intro, but I feel like I'm ready to get to Jesus.
Yeah, I just want to sit here and talk about how I've disappointed people.
Yeah, and we could, and there's, like I said, I think that was a perfect intro. But I think so. This is a Mark 1, verse 32, and I'm just going to read it and then make a few comments about it. So that evening at sundown, they brought to Jesus, all who were sick or oppressed by demons. The whole city was gathered together at the door, and he healed many who were sick with various diseases and cast out demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because he knew them. And rising very early in the morning, when it was still dark, he departed and went to a desolate place, no people there. Read that. And there
Jesus was an introvert.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. There he prayed. And Simon and those who were with him searched for him, and they found him and said, now this is key, everyone is looking for you. And he said to them, let us go to the next town that I may preach there, for that is why I have come. So there's all these people looking for Jesus, and Jesus just blows them off. Right? Like talk about trying to get a hold of, your pastor, or try to email your pastor, and he just our you for months, right?
So,
just blows him off. Hey, we're looking for you, Jesus. Where are you? And he's just like, I'm done. Peace out.
I love our teaming. I really value the years we've worked together, and I get really excited about the things that God has called us and allowed us to do together in that team.
Yeah.
And to me, this is equal to, hey, Pastor, I think we ought to do blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, okay. And then we do it, and it's like taking off, and all these people are coming, and I'm like, let's do more. And you're like, where is he? Where'd he go? And you're like, I gotta rest. I gotta take some space.
I'm done.
I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being the disciple.
Well, and I don't think it's even that. I'm going to push it a step farther.
Okay.
It's like you create a really good ministry. It's successful. It's meeting our value, all the things that I told you are the non-negotiables. And I come in one day, I'm like, we're done. We're canceling this ministry.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's what I think it is.
It's even worse.
Right? This is a great thing. And it's had a good run, but we're done with it.
I've said, I'm so Peter. Right? And I could only imagine. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Do you know we've been looking for you and you're just sitting here?
Yeah.
So why, how does Jesus handle that? And is it okay that Peter's disappointed?
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's why he needed to rise early in the morning and make sure he got his confidence from God and not from himself. And not from man. And so maybe that he knew that he was going to disappoint them. Yeah, and that's what's interesting. It doesn't really go into the heart of Jesus, how he handled that. And again, my guess is we could learn some places from other stuff. We be okay disappointing people when we rely on God. We'd be okay when we're disappointing people because we know it's going to happen. But I don't think... I think it's really just for me, it's knowing that Jesus as a leader disappointed people. And here's the thing, St. Paul said it this way. He says, I become all things to all people that some may know Jesus, right? And maybe as a missionary, he could do that. But as a leadership mantra, that's a horrible leadership mantra.
Say that again.
Become all things to all people. Like, because again, he said, become all things to all people that some may know Jesus, right? That's how Paul said it. That's my paraphrase of it. Sorry if it's a little off, but as a leader, I'm not sure that works.
No.
Because if I
because you're living for people instead of what God's mission is.
Yeah, let's take a room of 50 people, like even a smaller churches than ours, like there's 50 different opinions about things. Now, again, we might agree on a lot of things, but at some level, we're going to find something that we disagree with, right? Like the amount of times I've offended people by something I've said in a sermon that was simple and I didn't even think. Like I've learned to be careful with my humor and my jokes and all my things because those can offend people, right? And that's not even when I have to make a hard decision about ministry or have to lead the church through making a hard decision. Like those things are going to happen. And so when we have a room with, we have something like 600 members, a part of our faith family, like there's going to be disappointment in that. And so the Jesus leading the 12 disciples, speaking to crowds, there was going to be disappointment. And that's just because we're different. And praise God, we are different. I don't want a church of 600 Josh Kreppels. Like that would not be a glorious thing, but we just have to realize
I like how you said that.
That'd be an awful thing. That'd be awful. No. Like we'd all sit in the corner and not talk to each other, right? Like it'd be real bad, but like
but you'd be comfortable with the silence.
Yeah, we'd be real comfortable with the silence. And it would be easier. Like, can I just say, like, it'd be easier? Like, it would. It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be the beautiful mess that a church is. But I think a church is a beautiful mess. But it's just that reality. And so I think, I guess what I'm trying to say, as a leader, you will disappoint people. And you don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy it. But you do have to mourn it and go to God with it and be okay with that it's going to be the reality. That's, I think, yeah. You
said hard decisions are going to happen. Is it difficult for you as a leader to lead into what you're looking at it and you're about to walk through the front door of a very challenging decision? Is that a difficult one?
Yeah, very, because I know, and not because most of the hard decisions I've had to make, I actually felt a lot of clarity and conviction around them, and clarity in the people that I talked to and the people that wrestled through, and clarity in my prayer time and God's direction. But it was the heart of how do we walk this well so we don't, it is this leadership mantra that leadership is disappointing people at a rate that they can handle.
Say it again.
Leadership is disappointing people at a rate that they can handle. So that's the challenging part of it. What can they handle? And how do I walk that well? Because that's my concern, is how do I walk that well? Not how do I keep everybody happy, but how do I walk that as best that I can while still going where, I feel like is best for our church, sometimes where God is leading. I'm not going to claim that everything that I've done has been a vision down from heaven that God has said, do this. I think that becomes dangerous. But I think leading with the wisdom that God gave me and the people that he placed around me and the other leaders here. And but how do we walk that well? Because it's easy. I think it's easy in some ways to make the decision. And not really. It's hard to make the decision. The decisions are hard to make. But the hard part actually begins when you begin to lead it with people.
Right, when you start stepping into it.
Yeah, because again, I don't think people fear change, they fear loss. But sometimes change is loss. Sometimes we have to give something up to do something new, right? Like if my wife and I want to balance our budget, right? Like if we want to give to a capital campaign, if we want to do something different with our money, sometimes that means we have to give something up. We have to put something down. And so I think the thing about a church is that for churches to move forward with a limited resources, with a limited volunteer capacity, with a limited, we live in a infinite world. God gives us infinite blessings, but we're using limited means. And so we do have to say no to some things and yes to others. And that is always the chance to disappoint.
So what do you learn from Jesus? You are going to disappoint. There are going to be times that I like how you said that leadership is disappointing people at a rate they can handle. And we know as leaders, there's also a rate people aren't going to be able to handle, and they're going to step away. So how do you get your strength? What do you do following Jesus's model that helps you to be able to lead into those moments?
And I think we see Jesus doing this other times. We see him mourning over things. I don't think he mourns over the fact that he's disappointing people. I don't think we see that, but I think he does have a habit of mourning. And so I think like we do have to weep and we do have to mourn when things don't go the way we want them to, when we are disappointing people. But then I think it's just, ultimately it's for me, like what I drive hope from Jesus is that like, that this is a part of humanity. It's not necessarily me being a bad leader. Oh, no, yeah. And does that make sense? Because I think like sometimes we can like, as leaders, we can live in this,
I'm a good leader or I'm a bad leader.
Yeah, and I'm a good leader and a bad leader based on what people think about me today. And so I think like what Jesus reminds me is that if he was the Son of God, if he was perfect and he still disappointed people, then sometimes, not all the time, now again, I have to reflect a little bit like, did I do something wrong? Could I have done something better? And so some of the people that I've disappointed have been good to me and have allowed me to see places where I can grow. And that's a beautiful thing when that happens. And so I don't want to totally discount that, but I also want to say at the same time that like, if Jesus disappointed people, we can't expect that we won't. We will, because being human, being a leader is to disappoint people.
Now, some people are listening and they don't view themselves as a leader. But this works if you're a dad, if you're a mom, you work in your job. There's going to be times you disappoint. I just had a conversation with my son yesterday, and he said, man, Walker is in this stage of life where he is saying no and he's throwing down. Yeah. And he goes, and the other night he was going to get a popsicle, but he took the popsicle and he threw it on the floor. And my son goes, and now neither of us gets a popsicle. You don't get a popsicle because you just threw it on the floor, and I was going to enjoy a popsicle with you, and I'm not getting one. And to push through that, to understand, well, you're also raising a tiny human, and this is where it gets real. Yeah. And you do have to follow through on those hard lessons, even through the disappointment.
Yeah, and I think as a parent, one of the most dangerous things as a parent, I think, in my experience, is deriving your value from what your kids feel and think about you, right? If you want to go ride that roller coaster, be my guest, but it will mess you up, right? Like there's no way you can have enough counseling, enough self-care to get through that just incorrect belief.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, because your kids will, some of mine will get back from skiing and they're like, Dad, when can we go go-karting? It's like, we just skied all day, right? Like there's never enough, right? Like, and so if my kids' feelings about me are my validity as a parent, are my worth as a person, like I'm doomed. Yeah, I'm doomed because, and granted, like I love that my kids want to do stuff. I love that they push me to get out off my couch and, and that's a beautiful thing. But if my value is in them feeling like they had enough, that's a dangerous proposition.
Yes. And we have to stay in this beautiful lane of helping them to stay in the lane of that obedience, because like I told my son, I go, well, welcome to your next 18 years, because this doesn't stop. Yeah. You're constantly pouring into them as they become who God's calling them to be. Yeah. And if we enable and we live for that, them to value us, oh, that becomes
Yeah.
an endless tank that does not get filled.
Yeah. And again, there's times when, they'll say, you're the best, mine are young enough, that you're the best daddy in the world. And that just, and you bottle up those things and remind them. But it's like, if you're waiting for the kids to value you, you better wait till you're like 40 and then they may sometimes, maybe,
I'm a little older than 40 and
when your kids are 40. When your kids are 40, maybe they will. I'm just now getting to the place as an adult where I can value my parents a little more because I see what they did. And even when the kids were younger, I didn't have the brain width to be able to do it. And so and even then, if your value is found in what your kids think about you. But this really applies to all leadership.
It does.
Right?
Whether you're at work, whether you're a neighbor, there's going to be disappointment, and how we manage it, and how we don't find our significance in it, but we can grow and learn from it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying we don't want to learn how to make our kids joyful. I think that's a good thing. We shouldn't anger our kids. That's biblical. But we should grow in these things, but we can't find our value in them. And I think that's the hard juxtaposition of this. You need to grow as a leader and grow in how you disappoint people at a rate that they can handle. You need to, these are important things in leadership, but you can't derive your value from that. You got to get your value from the fact that Jesus placed a cost on you when he gave his life on the cross, and that's where your value comes from. And then out of that, you get to serve and love others.
And on this side of heaven, it's always going to be messy and uncertain, and that's why we have to keep our eyes on Jesus. Because if I look to this world for that advice, I'm not going to be in a good place.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love what Jesus did, the example he set for us that, right, and this is verse 35 of Mark 1, and rising very early in the morning while it was still dark, he departed to a desolate place, and there he prayed, right? In the midst of all of this, are we going to ourself? Are we telling ourselves this life, I just figure it out, then I won't disappoint people? Or are we going to God over and over and over again for his strength, for his comfort, for his renewal? And I think these challenges in leadership, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's kids, whether that's job, whether that's a volunteer, right? Go back to God to be renewed. And I love that Jesus did that.
It's been a rough season around here, which I don't understand how. We just started a new year, and you would think it wouldn't be, but it is. And it was really good because our staff took some time, school and church, to just step aside and pray and to just give it up. And it was really beautiful. But on my way home, I'm thinking, why didn't we do that sooner? Right?
Yeah.
The thing that is the only thing that's going to bring healing and comfort and strength is sometimes the thing that we do last.
Yeah.
And I was shaking my head, but I was like, but we did it. And praise God for that, because that was a turning point. Why do we not do it sooner?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the simple answer is, I guess for me, is that I think we try to handle it ourselves. I think we don't believe this. This isn't our theology. Our theology is that God is working through us, and everything that we do actually is him working through our weakness, not our strength. But a lot of times we're led to believe as leaders that it's up to me, that I have to carry it, that I have to do it, that I have to figure it out. And again, that's not our theology, but it's a lot of times how we practically live, as opposed to saying, God's going to help us, that he's going to give us what he needs, that really he's going to be the one to do the work. And it's not that we don't ask God for help, but we don't really pause and take that time with him. And I think we probably should do that. And this isn't that we taught kids to do this. We said, hey, right before your test, take a couple seconds and pray. I think when things are really big and really heavy, we need to take longer to pray. We were at church close to 3 hours, right? It wasn't this short, we're going to say a 5-minute prayer and move on. That's I think the longest I've prayed. And, we had stops and starts, but it was close to 3 hours. And I think how often do I struggle to take 2 minutes of quiet time, right? I like the devotion that I told you about that I got this from. It tells me to do 2 minutes of quiet time at the start and 2 minutes at the end, which is 4 minutes more of quiet time than I've ever had before this devotion. And so but do we take that with God? Do we take 2 minutes? 4 minutes isn't enough, but we try to do that. Luther said it this way. He said, I've got a really busy day. I need to spend an extra hour in prayer. And I always wonder if that's one of those is attributed to Luther, if it actually was. I don't know for sure, but it's a kind of cool saying that the more you have going on, probably the more you need to pause and pray, which is counterintuitive, but probably what we need to do.
Yeah, great words and great reminder today. And thank you, Pastor Josh, and thank you for joining us. And we will see you in our next episode.